Welcome, Nonsense Media family, to our new segment on the channel. This is the first episode of Basement Talk, where we talk about old movies, different topics in this creaky, creepy old basement. I hope you enjoy. Today we will be talking about the glorious legend John Carpenter. And our guest for today will be none other than Khan. Let's get him out here. Alright, how you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So,
it's kind of hard to say no with all, the threats.
well,
My family had nothing to do with it, okay? That business was between me and you.
let's just say it became their problem. So,
Okay, John Carpenter.
see, I know you're a big fan of John Carpenter as well as me. Is that correct for me to say that?
John Carpenter, I think he was, I don't know, he was a real trailblazer in the 80s especially, mainly in the 80s.
Yes, he started in the 70s, but his most well-known projects came out in the 80s.
Most notably, obviously, it was Halloween will probably be the one that most people will remember.
That is what definitely started his career. However, surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't know that was his movie. A lot of people
Really
don't care.
I didn't know that.
That don't know much about who made what film and everything. They'll think, oh, that person made The Thing and all those other movies.
Yeah.
So,
The Thing being my favorite, though.
that's what I wanted to start off with.
Go
Your
ahead.
favorite John Carpenter movie. You'd say it's The Thing?
It's The Thing, definitely. I think The Thing is probably one of the best horror movies ever made, if not one of the best films ever, in my opinion.
No, I'm gonna say not only is that my favorite John Carpenter movie, it's my all-time favorite movie ever.
Right.
The Thing is my favorite movie ever. And I think it is not only one of the best pieces of horror science fiction ever created, just one of the best movies ever made.
And it was a movie, it was one of those films at the time that not many people cared for it. I think people liked it, but it kind of just disappeared at the time.
The classic 80s, 70s trope of an amazing movie coming out at the time, and then apparently everyone was stupid back then because The Shining,
It didn't get much
Thing,
recognition. The
no
Shining,
one liked it.
it didn't
apparently.
get nominated, I don't believe, for any Oscars.
Even then, even if you didn't like the movie, how could you, you can't, even as a film scholar back then, you look at that and say, no, it doesn't deserve any recognition for its special effects or anything.
The special effects were one of the things that made it.
It's still one of the best of all time.
The effects look amazing. It's one of the things where it's obvious
It's one
that
of the things.
it's one of the things. It's obvious that it works better because they made a remake, prequel, whatever. They remade it and they used CGI, and it's something where the practical effects it just works
It takes
better.
the entire charm out of it.
Sure.
Because it's like they put all this work into making the bodies fall apart and turn into different things. when you could just easily do it with CG. There's nothing wrong with CG. I'm just saying, it's like, you can see the grit and realism when you see the actual, like, say they used melted bubble gum. You can just see something actually melting and forming off. But with CG, you can tell it's like just this kind of...
I don't have any problem with CG.
No, yeah.
But, like, I think this is a movie where it kind of...
One of the trademarks of this movie is its special effects.
Another thing that goes along with it is kind of, this is a thing, I don't know if it's major in a lot of John Carpenter movies, but it's definitely in The Thing, is the realism of it, where it's all these actors, it's all these dudes, and they're all stuck in the cabin together or whatever, and they feel like just real,
they feel like
average
real
men.
Yes.
So when they all break, it feels like, oh, this is how men would react to this.
You can feel the actual tension of them getting mad at each other. And I was going to say that is actually, I would say that's a good trend throughout some of his movies, like The Fog. I would say that there's a certain amount of realism with how the people react in this extremely extraordinary situation. It's but then you have something like They Live, where you have just a homeless Roddy Piper who now becomes a superhero defeating the alien overlords.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Are you saying that that's not realistic?
It was realistic for Roddy Piper, but I don't know if anyone else would be able to take on that role.
Well, let's talk about that. They Live, which I've seen recently.
Just saw for the first time recently.
Yes. That's a great film, obviously.
I've seen it a couple times before. That's another one of my all-time favorite John Carpenter movies. Not sure where it falls on my favorite movies of all time, but it is an amazing movie. I would agree with some people. It takes a little while to get started. You really have to pay attention to the movie.
It has a slower build-up.
Yes, but when it gets to I think the build-up's fine. A lot of people would probably get a little bored, but as far as the payoff, when all the aliens actually he starts killing them, and they start actually fighting them, it's extremely satisfying and fun to watch.
I hesitate to even call it. It wouldn't even be considered a what's it called? A horror movie. It would be more considered a action thriller.
Oh, no,
I
it's
wouldn't classify it as a horror movie.
Not at all. John Carpenter is called like the master of horror, father of horror, but that's one of that Big Trouble Little China, completely out of his normal realm of, say, like,
and he still masters it.
Oh yeah. Big Trouble in Little China, another movie, great movie. Kurt Russell's great, and it's a fun movie. And you'd think it's another one. People are like, oh, John Carpenter made that. No, it's and of course another one didn't do so well right when it came out. It made a lot of money, but the reviews weren't great, and that annoyed John Carpenter because he was like, they get me to do this like big Hollywood movie, and I'm not usually doing that, and then they complain about it. But John Carpenter, you did amazing. It was a great movie.
I think when it comes to Halloween now, because Halloween is his most infamous movie.
That's what's it's another, just like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. It's another massive like horror movie franchise that certainly went off the rails, I'd say, fairly quickly.
Because he stopped working on them after the third one, which nobody likes. Yeah. But that's not saying much because nobody likes any of the sequels anyways.
No, well, he completely did the first one. I'm honestly, I'm not completely sure what the extent of what he did on the second one, but he wanted to do, and then he produced Season of the Witch. I like Season of the Witch because
do too.
I would have loved. He originally wanted the Halloween series to be an anthology series, so he wanted it to be Halloween. There's Michael Myers. Halloween 2 is not supposed to be the continuation of Michael Myers. He's supposed to disappear at the end of the first one. New movie with the.
I think it would have worked, like the anthology. Maybe it would have worked if they did the second one, Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Rather than like
Well, because
the third one.
once they do Halloween 2 and it's Michael Myers again, then it's not an anthology series anymore. Now people want to see Michael Myers and everyone gets mad. Oh, where's Michael Myers? This dumb pumpkin mask movie. This is stupid.
And it's wrong because that movie's really good.
That movie's really good. I like it. The first Halloween is still the best one. That comes to another anthology movie series he did. Not a movie, but it was for television.
Yeah. TV movie.
TV movie. Body Bags. John Carpenter's Body Bags. It was him, and it was mainly him, but he also worked on it with the late Toby Hooper.
I love anthology movies.
That's probably I would say it's probably my favorite genre of horror movie.
Yes. And John Carpenter and other horror movie directors, that seems like a perfect match. And it was.
Yeah, and they all had Mark Hamill and they were not only, they got a little freaky, but they were also fun.
They were fun movies.
Like the middle section, if I'm not mistaken, was the hair one.
Yes.
You got hair implants. That was great.
And John Carpenter was the middle stories to tie them together. He appeared in them himself.
Yes, it was great.
Oh, better. The doctor will see you now. Ugly. Man, are you ugly. Well, we all know it isn't what a person looks like. It's what's inside that counts. Death by natural causes. Natural causes. Natural causes. More natural causes. I hate natural causes. Give me a big old stab wound to poke around in, then I'm happy.
And he
looked 40 when he was like 30, just like right now. He looks 85, even though he's not even 70 yet.
in that movie, it's clear that he's a man that loves what he does.
Oh yes, he's so into it. He's honestly like a good actor. Like I love that. That's probably one of my favorite segments of the movie. Just him coming in and out of unzipping out of the body bags, just doing stuff with the bodies. It's great.
Yeah.
How does Body Bags rank on your other anthology movies? Me personally, I might be biased towards John Carpenter, but it's my favorite anthology.
It's
I'm
not
gonna call
one
it a movie, but
it's not one of the higher ones for me because there's only like 3
I
stories in
understand
it.
that. Yeah.
And there's more, like there's a lot more that are more scary, and this one is more lighthearted.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I like nice lighthearted humor with a lot of horror.
What would you say your favorite anthology movie is?
Probably Southbound.
Southbound, that's a really good one. Body Bags certainly also reminded me of Creepshow and everything.
Creepshow's one of the best ones.
That's probably one of the most well-known if not the most well-known anthology horror series. As we both know, John Carpenter is getting in his age, just like many other 80s, 70s, 80s directors of yesteryear.
Sure.
Do you think he would become another Ridley Scott or Jorge Lucas, if you will?
George Lucas would keep, he tried to do the prequels and that right away. We already knew that he lost it.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, he still had some directing credits of smaller stuff, I guess. Before he came back to the mainstream.
Yeah, I'd say the most recent big great thing that he did was probably Gladiator.
Back in 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But John Carpenter, he hasn't worked on anything in ages.
Something big, yeah.
So I think maybe he knows, and I don't think anything other than producing will be in his future. And I think he's okay with that.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. And if he's comfortable with that, I don't want him to tarnish his own image. And that brings me on to my next point. I am really excited for the Halloween
Yes.
movie.
He's coming back to produce.
Yes, and
put his full support behind
Exactly.
it, unlike the Rob Zombie one.
exactly. I don't know if any fans out there disagree, but I think the Rob Zombie Halloween is a disgrace.
It's dumb.
It's dumb to. I wouldn't even want to use the word disgrace because it's like giving it
as
too much
bad,
credit.
It's as bad as any sequel of Halloween.
Yes. Oh no.
after
To
Season
me,
of the
it's
Witch.
just another one of those. It's just another.
So maybe it's not that as bad.
No, that's what I'm
It's
saying. I don't
another
even
one of
want to use
those.
the word disgrace on it because that's just giving it too much credit. It's just as dumb as the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. It's just stupid.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't.
Oh, remake. Okay, I think
Oh,
we're talking about sequels.
No, those are all great. Mostly. Well, it was big news that John Carpenter was putting his support behind it, so I hope he's a little more involved with than just like saying.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do that.
Let's hope that the new Halloween movie they're making really follows the example of the new It movie that just came out. Don't want to go too much into it because I'll be talking about it on the podcast, but needless to say, it was great.
Sure.
And there was a lot of horror movie remakes, like we just mentioned with the Rob Zombie Halloween or the Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
where it's just
Terrible.
it's just dumb. They don't care about the source material. They do not care. Or Rob Zombie had a dumb vision of it. It's just with it, they really cared about what they were doing,
Yes.
and it made a great product. And I hope with what they're doing with this new Halloween movie with John Carpenter backing it, that it's really gonna be like a great, really scary version of what John Carpenter originally did.
Well, that's all we can really hope for.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, that's all we can hope for.
I'm probably getting my hopes up too much. I really want it to be something great.
If it's not, well, if it is great, then yay, John Carpenter. If it isn't
not.
great, he didn't have much to do.
We didn't have
with
much to do it, and we still have the
it.
original.
We'll still love him.
We still have the original, and it won't mean anything less to me.
He's a man. He didn't win any Oscars. He's not
deserves
going
it.
to get any kind of mainstream glory. But he's a fantastic director.
He's my all-time favorite filmmaker, and just a little tidbit for the end. We're gonna be seeing him in concert. I am so excited.
Cannot wait for that.
He's going to be performing all of his movie scores because, if anyone didn't know, he did most of his own movie scores. So that is extremely exciting. I cannot wait to even see him in person. Is going to be.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be just like, I don't know. My heart's gonna stop. But
He'll probably die before we get there.
I know, honestly. Well, I'm going to say that concludes today's Basement Talk. Thanks for joining us. I hope you love John Carpenter just as much as we do. Check out some of the movies we mentioned, The Thing, Fog, They Live, some of his greats. Just check them out. Thank you, Khan, for joining us today.
Smash that like button.
Okay, you gotta calm down. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment, do all the stuff that you already knew that you could do already. You don't need me to tell you that. And thanks for joining us. See you next time.
I want my family back because he's not funny anymore.
Okay, maybe if you stopped complaining, maybe they would see their dad and husband again. So maybe you just shut up and talk about movies with me. We'll be able to, maybe we'll be able to see him again. So
You said it was an accident, but I saw you with that rock and the little girl.
there was nothing to see.
You were smiling.